this fall on Fox and stream the first season on Hulu.
Get Doug Henny's forecast tonight on KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, Missouri and Kansas residents hit the polls for their state primaries. We'll have those results.
Also, as Israeli athletes are being affected by the war in Gaza during the Olympics.
And we've got a below normal day, at least to start with out there, and a couple of stray showers. We'll have a look at that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner, just after 7 a.m. now on this Wednesday morning, the day after the primary elections across the area. So hopefully folks got out there and voted, and we know that a good number of you did because we've got some election results for you this morning.
Absolutely. Voters have spoken, and we have the numbers from yesterday's state and local primary races across Missouri and Kansas. We have lots of areas, sheriff's races among Republicans. In all of these races, there are no contested races among Democrats. In Cherokee County, Brian Henderson defeats current Chief Deputy Nate Jones.
Checking out some other Republican races for sheriff in the area in Allen County, Anthony Manis defeats incumbent Brian Murphy.
Another incumbent faces a GOP party challenge in Bourbon County, Kansas. Sheriff Bill Martin narrowly defeats Nelson Blunt.
In Montgomery County, Republican Sheriff Ron Wade wins against challenger Bobby Dierks.
In Wilson County, Kansas, Pete Kuhn is the current undersheriff. He beats out Louis Cortel Desposito.
In Woodson County, the current sheriff is running for county clerk. Jacob Morrison beats Kenneth Robbins in the Republican race for sheriff.
In the Jasper County Sheriff's race, Sheriff Randy Kaiser and Ethan Snow competing for the Republican nomination. Kaiser wins that contest.
Newton County, Missouri also has 2 GOP contenders for sheriff. Former Joplin Police Chief Matt Stewart beats current Chief Deputy Rick Geller.
In Barton County, Missouri, Sheriff John Simpson defeats challenger Mitchell Shaw for the Republican nomination.
In McDonald County, Sheriff Robert Evanson has 2 GOP challengers. Evanson beats both of them.
And in Vernon County, Missouri, 3 Republicans are competing for the nomination for sheriff. Mike Buller wins the nomination.
All right, and of course, we have a number of election results on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/elections. A lot of resources there as well.
Absolutely.
Check your polling place, see if you're registered to vote. Tons of great resources all in one place.
Yeah, it's from now until November 5th. Check it out.
You certainly should. And we have got ourselves a chilly start to the day this morning. Temperatures a wee bit below average. Taking a live look from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. Now it is pointed roughly to the northeast, and you can see skies looking relatively clear, just a few clouds out there. Then as we take a look at our camera at 7th and Rangeline, which is pointed a little back to the northwest, you can see we've got some clouds out there, and we have some showers in southeastern Kansas as well. MoDOT camera 20th and goodness, I'm so used to that one. 32nd in Rangeline rather, also looking pretty good. So here's a look at these showers. So this is why took me a minute to catch up with some of these showers, because we have a lot of radar clutter that's not actually happening. And initially, that's kind of how this appeared. But as it turns out, this is real, legitimate rainfall now rolling into Erie, just south of Stark. So right along the 59 corridor from Stark down to Parsons, we have some rain showers out there and some moderate showers as well. No thunderstorm activity, nor are we anticipating any. But to be perfectly honest, and I keep checking the latest computer model data, none of them have picked up on this shower. None of them say it's there. None of them say it's going to be there. So we'll just kind of keep an eye on it. We had a little further south. This one's starting to fall apart into parts of Craig County, but we do have a little shower in the northwestern corner of the county just west of Welch. This activity is pushing slowly off to the east, southeast, and should eventually begin to die out. But again, we'll keep an eye on it and see just how long we can get some rain. We do need some out there. By noon, we are looking at pretty decent temperatures, upper 70s, low 80s out there instead of going low mid 90s. We're still going to be hot today, but our highs are going to be relatively decent, at least comparative to what we have seen. I got, again, mostly clear skies as we head into the afternoon. Below normal now, 62 Joplin, 61 in Pittsburgh. Our average low 69. All of us have been below that throughout the morning. We're all sitting into the low mid 60s out there. So again, a very pleasant start to the day. Clouds will clear out, showers should die out, and then we'll go with sunny skies heading into the afternoon. Again, hot, but seasonably so as we go upper 80s and low 90s. Got another hot day tomorrow and then some pretty decent changes to those temperatures. We'll look at the forecast in detail here in just a few more minutes. Lisa.
All right, thanks, Chris. The Columbus Fire Department is investigating the cause of a house fire from Monday night. It happened in the 400 block of South Vermont Street. Authorities say the flames were so intense they melted the siding on a neighboring house. The residents were not home at the time of the fire, and there are no reported injuries. While the investigation continues, authorities suspect an electric issue as the cause. The president of Via Christi Hospital in Pittsburgh announces his retirement. Drew Talbot will step down after 30 years of service to the hospital. Talbot joined Via Christi back in 1996 and has served as president of the Pittsburgh Hospital for the past 4 years. Talbot's final day as president comes one day before Via Christi Hospital in Pittsburgh transitions to the sponsorship of Mercy Health System on September 1st. 10 months into the Israel-Hamas war, and tensions continue rising in the Middle East. But some of those opposing Israel's war campaign across the Gaza Strip are taking out their anger on Israeli athletes now competing in the Paris Olympics. The unrest comes as the Olympic community remembers Israeli athletes murdered more than 5 decades ago at the Summer Olympics in Germany. Fox News' Chris DeMeo reports.
Thousands of miles away from the Israel-Hamas war raging on in Gaza, a solemn tribute in Paris paid honor to 11 Israeli athletes killed during the 1972 Summer Olympics in Munich, Germany.
They were murdered brutally and in cold blood by a Palestinian terrorist organization just because they were Jews.
Candles were lit and prayers rang out as officials remembered how members of the Palestinian group Black September broke into the Olympic Village and kidnapped Israeli teammates, ultimately killing the hostages in the midst of a failed rescue mission.
It was an attack on the culture of peace that the Olympic Games promote.
While the attack happened 52 years ago, Israeli Olympians now competing in the Paris Games say they're facing threats in the midst of the escalating Israel-Hamas war.
I've gotten quite a few messages and threats and that kind of stuff, but I think it only makes me stronger.
Prosecutors in Paris are investigating death threats that were emailed to athletes after some of their personal data was leaked online. Authorities are also looking into discriminatory gestures made at Israeli athletes during a recent soccer match.
We prepared our athletes. We made with them preparations. And still, when it comes, it's not easy.
Israeli officials say the threats are trying to instill psychological terror. But Tom Ravaney, who recently won gold in windsurfing over the weekend, says he's rising above the hate for his people.
Right now in Israel, everyone's terrified and scared, and I think it was a bit of light in these dark times.
Chris DeMeo, Fox News.
And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, we'll hear from a representative from the Down Syndrome Group of the Ozarks as they join us in the studio with an invitation for some outdoor fun this weekend. And later, how a scientist is helping minorities to become more involved in shark science. You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the Miami Fairgrounds ahead of the Ottawa County Fair. Well, if you're looking for a way to get out and enjoy the beautiful weather this weekend, then you should check out the Step Up and Splash event. We have Sarah Vaca with us this morning to share how the event helps the Down Syndrome Group of the Ozarks. Welcome to you. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. So talk to me a little bit about Down Syndrome Group of the Ozarks and the involvement that you all have in the Joplin community.
Yeah, so Down Syndrome Group of the Ozarks exists to bring life and wellness to families advocating towards a community of inclusion for individuals with Down syndrome. So this event is going to fundraise and bring resources to the Joplin area, things like our life groups we host quarterly for families to come together. We have things like baby baskets that we can bring to the hospitals if there's a new baby with Down syndrome, just connecting families to families, families to resources, things like that.
Absolutely. How are you seeing this impact families and children with Down syndrome in the Joplin community?
Yeah, families, when they see that there are other families who have individuals with Down syndrome, they feel less alone. Community is so much better for people. We don't want people to feel isolated. And so, yeah, when they see that there's a support system, we can help them live life to the fullest.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, this Step Up and Splash event going on this Saturday is a way not only for kids with Down syndrome to feel supported, but to also raise those funds. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Step Up and Splash for Down syndrome, we're going to be having it on August 10th at Cunningham Park. It's going to be from 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. We're going to have a walk. There's going to be face paint. There's going to be a fire truck, just different activities. And then we're going to move to the pool and have a pool party. So this is a time for people to come walk, support, donate, cheer on our families, and just have a good time.
Absolutely. And how are you raising those funds? Is this a free event, or are you raising it up through the walk?
Yeah,
itself?
It's through the walk. So if you are a parent, it's $30. If you're a child, it's $15. All our individuals with Down syndrome are free. And then if you want to come and volunteer, that's free. Just come out and hang out with us.
Absolutely. And from my understanding, this is the first walk that you guys are having in Joplin.
First one in Joplin.
Yes, and you've had some in Springfield as well.
Yes.
How have you seen that benefit the Springfield community, and what are you hoping to see in Joplin?
Huge. We have a Facebook group of over 400 members in the Springfield Joplin area of primary caregivers and parents who have children with Down syndrome. And so building our network.
Absolutely.
And there's so many families who have benefited from this, just again, seeing that they're not alone and that there's people that want to support them, and life can be so sweet with children with Down syndrome.
Fantastic. And for those who might not be able to attend the event but still want to contribute and donate, where can they do so?
Yep, you can look up Joplin Step Up and Splash. You can find our website, dsgo.life. We're on Instagram, Facebook. Reach out and we can get you connected.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, Sarah, so much for being with us this morning. And if you'd like to learn more about the Down syndrome group of the Ozarks, you can visit, as she mentioned, their website at dsgo.life. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is 7:16 now on this Wednesday morning. We're starting the Skywatch Storm Tracker because we do have a few isolated showers out there into parts of southeastern Kansas. So Erie, you're getting on the backside of it from Stark all the way down south toward Parsons, right along 59. We've got some shower activity out there. That's about where it stops. The next round of showers we find is going to be a little further to the south now, still to the west-southwest of Welch and Blue Jacket. Just a couple of stray showers in the northwestern portions of Craig County. So nothing crazy out there, but again, all the computer model data, and every time I check it and update it, it still hasn't shown any of this rain that's taking place out there. It won't last much longer. It is beginning to die out, but at least some of us getting a little bit of rain. Drought tracker's starting to show some dry conditions. Not quite at drought status yet, but some abnormally dry conditions across the area. Now today, once we get into the afternoon, skies clear out, and by noon, temperatures not bad, upper 70s and low 80s. Our highs today are going to be at or slightly above or slightly below normal. There's going to be a median in there about normal, but some of us be a little above, some of us will be a little below normal. Not like that's necessarily a bad thing. Then we head into our Thursday. By the morning, we start to see a system come through. It's going to bring us an opportunity for some showers and thunderstorms. Nothing strong or severe expected, and our best chances of rain, at least for organized, meaningful rainfall, will come before noon on Thursday, and even by the mid-morning, that's already starting to fizzle out. We could have a few lingering showers here or there through the afternoon and early evening, but the majority of us will be dry, and temperatures will be hot again on our Thursday, but still not too far off of normal. We go into Friday, though, and thanks to a low pressure system, it's going to kick around and bring in a northerly breeze. Now, this northerly breeze is actually going to bring some slightly cooler weather and a very isolated shot of a shower, maybe a rumble of thunder in our far western counties. The majority of us will be dry throughout the day on Friday. Right now in Joplin, you can see the clouds off to the north and west, and we are sitting at 62. Wind is light and variable at about 3 miles an hour out there. We'll have a northeasterly breeze today. Temperatures this morning, all of us still below normal, 69 the average low. We're all in the low to mid 60s, starting to see some upper 60s here and there, but again, a very fantastic start to the day. Well, those couple of showers in southeastern Kansas, those begin to fizzle out while skies clearing as we head toward the late morning hours, mid-70s by 11 o'clock. Again, highs at or either slightly above, slightly below normal out there, but we're looking at upper 80s, low 90s for our highs. So it's still going to feel hot, but it's not going to be bad. It's not going to be oppressively hot across the region. Heading into this evening, clear skies continue, mid-70s by 10 o'clock, maybe a few clouds overnight, and another potentially below normal night back into the mid to upper 60s. Tomorrow, again, hot, low mid 90s out there, so maybe even a little warmer tomorrow than it is today. And then take a look at this. We fall below normal. Average high is about 90, 91. And look at these temperatures, low mid 80s, and this lasts all the way through next Tuesday, as do at least some isolated shower and thunderstorm chances through Wednesday. By next Wednesday, we're back to about normal. Unfortunately, as you see, as we get toward the end of next week, that unpleasant heat looks to return. Temperatures back into the upper 90s and lower 100s. That's Check Your Forecast. We're back with more right after this. Marine sciences is one of the least diverse fields in science, technology, engineering, and math. More than 70% of marine biologists are white.
We're introduced to one organization working to change that narrative.
Leopard sharks are pretty harmless, right?
Yes, these sharks are completely harmless.
To show just how harmless, marine biologist and climate researcher Abel Gong took me to swim among the leopard sharks in La Jolla, California. Abel has always had a love for the ocean's apex predators, but when they entered the shark sciences field, one thing stood out.
You don't see people who really look like you. You see white, older men who have been in this field for a really long time, and it's really hard to get your foot in the door and really get in.
It's the main reason the organization MISS, which stands for Minorities in Shark Sciences, was created.
Experiences where people think I'm in the wrong place and they're just like, oh, like, what are you doing here? Like, you need to be on the other boat.
Carly Jackson is one of the co-founders. She and 3 other Black women united to erase the feeling of being the only in the field. Their goal is not only to support women and gender minorities in shark sciences, but to expose historically excluded groups to marine science.
Think about a shark scientist, you're not going to think about that same man who's been on Shark Week every year. You're going to start thinking about different faces.
Abel was one of the first members.
Suddenly I had this whole group of people who had my back, who looked like me, who could celebrate with me, who could even commiserate with me.
MISS is now more than 400 members strong in over 30 countries. Through camps, fellowships, and mentorships, MISS is changing the tide of shark sciences.
MISS serves people of all ages interested in marine biology. And as she described it, it's a lot of older folks. They've been doing this a while. We're going to have to start getting a few more younger folks in all groups interested in marine biology. We got to get some folks out there.
Great to see those doors are opening.
Yes.
Absolutely. Well, coming up, the presumptive Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris has announced her vice president pick.
And temperatures below normal this morning, and it's going to cool down toward the weekend. And we'll have another look at your forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's just coming up on 7:28. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. We had primaries yesterday across the region, and we have some election results to get to for you this morning.
Absolutely. The voters have spoken, and we have the numbers from yesterday's state and local primary races across Missouri and Kansas. 5 Republicans competed for their party's nomination. The winner, projected by Associated Press, is former Kansas Attorney General Derek Schmidt. 2 Democrats were competing, and Nancy Boyda held that seat in 2007 and 2008. Boyda is leading architect and developer Matt Kleinman, the former KU basketball player. Boyda wins the Democratic nomination.
In Missouri, 4 Republicans competed for the nomination for the 7th District U.S. House seat. Eric Burleson is the incumbent in that race, and he won. The Democrat in that race, Missy Hesketh, is uncontested. In Missouri's 4th District congressional race, 2 Democrats ran. Jeanette Cass won. The winner will face incumbent Republican Congressman Mark Alford in November.
Missouri also has a U.S. Senate race as Democrats choose their nominee to challenge incumbent Republican Senator Josh Hawley. 4 Democrats were on the ballot. Lucas Kuntz won that nomination.
In the Missouri state representative race for the 161st District, Republican incumbent Lane Roberts faced a challenge in his own party. Roberts wins that primary race. Democrat Shauna Ackerson is unopposed.
In the 163rd District of Missouri, 2 Republicans are running. Kathy Jo Loy wins the party nomination. The incumbent Cody Smith is leaving to seek the state treasurer position.
In the Missouri State Senate race for the 29th District, incumbent Mike Moon was challenged by Susan Harrelson. Moon wins that race.
A Kansas state senator faces a challenger in the District 12 GOP primary. Incumbent Carolyn Tyson wins against Stetson Kern.
In the Kansas State Senate race for District 13, incumbent Republican Tim Schallenberger leads challenger Sam Owen.
And in Kansas House District 1, 2 Democrats are competing. Janie Jarrett defeats Paul Rogers.
2 Republicans competed for the nomination for Kansas State House race District 4. Rick James is leading over Joshua Jones. So, of course, we've got a number of these election results in detail on our website, KOAMnewsnow.com/elections. A number of election resources there. Register to vote. See if you're registered to vote. You can do any number of things there.
Absolutely.
All in one spot.
Fantastic.
And you can do it, maybe take your laptop or your tablet or whatever outside this morning and check out those election results because it's absolutely beautiful. We do have some dying showers now in southeastern Kansas, and that's really about it out there. You can see now just to the southeast of Erie, immediately east of 59 there, right between Parsons and McCune, just north of 400. We have that shower there, and then we've had this little stray shower down here into Craig County, just to the west of Blue Jacket. Not much going on, and these, of course, on their way to a slow death here, but they did flare up out there. They were brief, but they are, again, quickly beginning to dissipate. So that's going to be about the only rain we see for us today. We'll have a northeasterly breeze by noon. Instead of going into the low to mid 90s, we're going to be upper 70s, low 80s. So fantastic start to the day. It's going to be hot, but for most of us, it's going to be right about seasonably hot. Some of us will be a little below average, some of us a little above average, but nothing too crazy. And again, not looking at the same oppressive heat that we've seen over the last several days. And this morning, average low 69, well below that, 62 in Joplin and in Pittsburgh. And we've got sunshine with just a few clouds out there. Around the area, temperatures all morning long have been, of course, below normal, but we've all been in the 60s. Haven't seen anybody, at least on this map, fall back into the 50s, but definitely a cool start to the day. Well, the clouds continue through about the late morning hours. They'll begin to clear out. Sunny skies heading into the afternoon. And again, hot, but not so hot. Not as hot as it has been as we go upper 80s and low 90s. Got another hot day tomorrow, and then temperatures look to fall below normal, not just for lows, but for our highs. We'll break down those details in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Lise?
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, Kansas prosecutors say a former police chief who led a raid on a small newspaper will be charged for actions he took after the raid. Gideon Cody is expected to be charged with felony interfering with the judicial process. He could get up to nearly 2 years in prison if convicted. In 2023, police executed search warrants at the Marion County Record, the home of its publisher, and the home of a city councilwoman. The sheriff's office suspected a reporter illegally obtained driving records on a local restaurant owner. The prosecutors didn't elaborate on the nature of the charge against the former police chief, but it was related to Cody's text exchange with the restaurant owner after the raids. The special prosecutors also determined the newspaper did not break any laws in getting the driving records. Community members in Neosho turned out for some food and health advice. Access Family Care invited the public out to celebrate National Health Week. Hot dogs, chips, and popcorn were provided while Access Family Care offered information on how to stay healthy and avoid chronic diseases.
We celebrate the benefits of providing medical, dental, and behavioral health care, primarily to people that are underserved, primarily low income, but we will see anybody.
Access Family Health Care serves multiple locations in southwest Missouri, including Joplin, Lamar, and Neosho. Vice President Kamala Harris debuting her official running mate to the country. Her decision triggering reactions nationwide as voters sound off with less than 100 days to go until Election Day. Fox News' Kevin Cork reports.
It was actually who I was hoping she'd pick.
Reactions pouring in after Vice President Kamala Harris, the Democratic Party's 2024 presidential nominee, selected Minnesota Governor Tim Walz as her running mate.
I have to figure out who this VP is. I'm not familiar with him.
While it might be some voters' first introduction to Mr. Walz, Harris took time to highlight his past as a high school teacher and football coach, while citing his record of military service and efforts to tackle gun violence and protect reproductive rights.
Coach Walz and I may hail from different corners of our great country, but our values are the same.
While some Democrats are upset about Harris not picking Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro, one of the finalists on her list of VP contenders.
I've seen Josh Shapiro when he was our local rep and kind of moving up, and I just really like him.
Others see it as a benefit.
It means that we get to keep the top of Pennsylvania blue and that he gets to enact on the state level the things that Kamala and Governor Walz will be enacting on a nationwide level.
Walz, meanwhile, coming out hot, taking some jabs at former President Donald Trump and his VP pick, Ohio Senator J.D. Vance.
J.D. Vance literally wrote the foreword for the architect of the Project 2025 agenda. These guys are creepy.
It just highlights how radical Kamala Harris is.
Next up for the Harris-Walz campaign will be stops Wednesday in Wisconsin and Michigan. Senator Vance will also be making similar trips. I'm Kevin Cork, Fox News.
And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. The California community comes together to help one of their own. We'll be right back, but before we head to break, here's a live look from the Miami Fairgrounds in Miami, Oklahoma. In Consumer Watch this morning, CrowdStrike facing a class action lawsuit from air travelers. The cybersecurity company is being sued by air travelers whose flights were delayed or canceled. The suit says flyers spent hundreds of dollars on lodging, meals, and alternative travel, while others missed work or suffered health problems from having to sleep on the airport floor. CrowdStrike said in a statement, quote, "We believe this case lacks merit and we will vigorously defend the company." Well, American debt continues to surge to a new record. The Federal Reserve Bank of New York reports Americans' credit card debt hit $1.14 trillion at the end of June. That is a $27 billion increase from the previous quarter. Rises in food costs, auto prices, and housing rates have hurt budgets for many households. The Federal Reserve also reports the credit card delinquency rate jumped 5% to 7.18% in the second quarter. Well, a new study shows the biggest issue in charging stations for electric vehicles. The study conducted by the company Charger Help looked at 20,000 chargers over the course of 4 years of data. It found charging stations' biggest problem is the various ways they can break. The study says issues range from mangled charging cables to broken screens. It also shows 26% of chargers incorrectly report their online status on the station's software. Well, Boeing and its supplier Spirit Aerosystems are under scrutiny once again. Executives from both companies facing intense questioning at the NTSB headquarters in Washington. Fox Business correspondent Kelly Saberi has the story.
This isn't a PR campaign for Boeing. This is an investigation on what happened on January 5th.
The NTSB kicking off an intense two-day investigative hearing into Boeing's mid-air door plug blowout. Witnesses included Boeing's Senior Vice President of Quality, Elizabeth Lund, and executives from Boeing's supplier Spirit Aerosystems.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you will give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Both companies getting grilled about safety systems and inspection processes. This comes after a preliminary NTSB report found the door plug ripped off mid-flight following a repair job at a Boeing factory. The plane apparently left the plant without the necessary bolts to secure this door panel. Boeing says paperwork detailing the repairs does not exist.
This was quite traumatic for the crew and the passengers.
The accident happened at 16,000 feet while flying over Portland, Oregon. While pilots were able to land the plane safely, 7 passengers and 1 flight attendant suffered minor injuries.
Injuries we can't see, which we often don't talk about, can have profound, lasting impacts on lives and livelihoods. So on behalf of the entire agency, we are so sorry for all that you experienced during this very traumatic event.
Several Federal Aviation Administration officials will also be testifying this week, and this includes Boeing's new boss, Robert Kelly Ortberg. In Chicago, Kelly Saberi, Fox Business.
And those are our top consumer stories. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 7:44 on this Wednesday morning. Skywatch Storm Tracker, we had a few showers in southeast Kansas. Those are beginning to die on out here. So this is now entering McCune, just to the east of Parsons, northwest of West Mineral, still sinking off to the south-southeast or east-southeast across the area. We had a little further south. This is all that remains of a little shower that was in northwestern Craig County earlier, just to the west of Oklahoma too. Really just some drizzle out there at this point. And that all just kind of flared up rather quickly and has died a rather quick death as well. We still have some cloud cover though associated with all of this, and that's going to continue to push through this morning, and then we'll begin to see sunny skies by late morning and into the afternoon hours. By noon, temperatures into the upper 70s, low 80s. Got a pretty decent day. We'll have a light northeasterly breeze. We're going to be hot, but for most of us seasonably so. And we head into Thursday morning, could see some scattered showers and thunderstorms. Not anticipating any strong or severe thunderstorms at this point, but at least some of us will get some much needed rain across the area because, as I've mentioned, drought tracker is showing dry status across a good portion of the area. So we're not quite to drought level yet, but if we don't start getting some rain, we're going to start running into more serious problems out there. So this will be some at least opportunity for rain. Best chances for rain really before noon, and in all honesty, probably before even 10 a.m. because it starts to die out as it pushes off to the east. As we go through the day on Thursday, an isolated shower or two will be possible, but for most part, we are simply going to dry out. Then we'll have some additional rain chances Friday, but unfortunately, these even more isolated as they're expected at this point to stay well to our west in our very far western counties. So Elk, Chautauqua, Washington County, maybe into Newada County, if that. Outside of that, though, thanks to this low pressure, which is just off the screen here, you can see the wind arrows circling around. That brings in another north breeze, and that will usher in actual cool weather, at least cooler weather across the area. And we've got a few days of below normal temperatures as we head into the weekend. Joplin, 7th range line. We got some clouds out there right now. 62. Wind is variable at about 3. When we take a look at temperatures around the area, again, average low is 69. We are all well below that, hanging out in the 60s, where most of us low to mid 60s. So very refreshing start to the day. Again, the clouds that are out there will begin to clear out as we head toward late morning. It will be about mid 70s by 11 a.m. Our highs today, again, you have to remember it's a 15 county area. Some of us will be a little below normal. Some of us a little above normal, but for the most part, we're looking to be right where we should be for this time of year. We'll have some upper 80s and low 90s under sunny skies with that light northeasterly breeze. We head into the evening, clear skies continue, comfortable mid 70s by 10, and another night where we could be below normal as we fall back into the mid to upper 60s. And of course, we have the rain chances first part of our day Thursday, maybe an isolated shower Friday. We at least have some kind of rain chances all the way through Wednesday, but once we kick into Friday, take a look at this. Temperatures below normal through at least next Tuesday, low, mid, and eventually upper 80s out there. So not a bad stretch ahead of us. A great weekend to get some stuff done if you've got things to get done, because take a look at the end of next week. We're getting hot again, upper 90s, maybe some lower 100s. Let's check your forecast. We're back with more right after this.
Restaurant owners are used to serving others, but for one man, the community he serves turned the tables and helped him in a time of need.
Danya Bacchus shares the story of a community that rallied around a restaurant that was on the chopping block.
We got a few racks of beef short ribs that we got to cook.
The scent of Brad Cooper's smoked meats has lingered in the air in Lemon Grove, California for more than a decade.
We call them sweetbacks.
He started Coop's West Texas Barbecue to bring a taste of the food he loves to the West Coast.
I put everything I had into this business.
But he says the last few years have been a struggle.
23 was probably the worst year that we had ever faced in all our years, and 2024 wasn't starting out any better.
With the rising cost of food and slow business, Brad says he just couldn't keep up. He was ready to close his doors for good until the community stepped up in a way he wasn't expecting.
Anytime anybody asks me what I do for barbecue, it's here.
Maisha Williams is one of the restaurant's loyal customers.
I saw the sign that they were closing, and in that moment, I just kind of started to shed, I literally shed tears. I was like, this place is monumental.
When she and others found out Coop's was closing, they weren't going to let it go without one last taste.
It was crazy. I mean, it was a line from the door all the way out to the street.
The weekend Coop's was set to close ended up being the best sales weekend the restaurant ever had.
I just kind of put my head down and his tears just started coming out. And when I came up, I was like, where y'all been, you know?
Brad now runs a weekend-only operation. And though he admits his financial struggles aren't over, the outpouring from the community has allowed him to continue to fire up the pit and smell what he hopes is longevity.
Brad Cooper says as long as he continues to receive steady support from the community, he will stay open.
Certainly impressive to see the community step up and support a local business, especially when he truly needed it. He was on the brink of closing and they stepped right in.
Great to see.
And you know what else is really great to see? Cool temperatures. That is fantastic after, boy, the last week or so of nasty hot temperatures out there. We're doing pretty good. Still have the remnants of a stray shower here just to the northwest of West Mineral, so kind of fizzling out over McCune right now in southeastern Kansas. That's really about it. The one that was down just to the west of Blue Jacket, and you can watch it here, it has officially died, and this one has all but died. We still have some cloud cover that we got to contend with this morning, but that will begin to clear out by late morning into the afternoon. By noon, upper 70s, low 80s. Our highs today are going to be reasonable, upper 80s, low 90s. So still hot, but not bad. We go into Thursday morning, again, some scattered showers and thunderstorms would be possible primarily before noon. Not everyone will see rain, but at least some of us will, and we absolutely need that rain out there. As we head into our Friday, temperatures are going to be below normal, but Thursday, though, still a little bit on the hot side, and then by Friday, maybe a stray shower storm our far western counties, but the temperatures for the highs, thanks to this low pressure system, will be below average, and it's nice to be able to say that. We'll have another look at your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Kansas prosecutors say Gideon Cody, a former police chief who led a raid on a small newspaper, will be charged with felony interfering for actions he took after the raid. If convicted, he could get up to nearly 2 years in jail. Special prosecutors also determined the newspaper did not break any laws. The Columbus Fire Department is investigating the cause of a house fire from Monday night. Authorities say the flames were so intense they melted the siding on a neighboring house. Residents were not home at the time of the fire, and there are no reported injuries. Authorities suspect an electric issue as the cause. Drew Talbot, president of the Christie Hospital in Pittsburgh, announces his retirement. Talbot joined Via Christie back in 1996 and has served as president of the Pittsburgh Hospital for the past 4 years. Talbot's final day comes one day before the transition of the sponsorship of Mercy Health System on September 1st.
And we've got a hot day, but seasonably hot for most of us. Upper 80s, low 90s, sunny skies, and a light northeasterly breeze out there. We'll hold on to clear skies as we head into the evening, down to the mid 70s by 10. Another night where we could be below normal, mid upper 60s for our lows. We got those shower and storm chances in the first half of our Thursday, maybe an isolated shower Friday. Rain chances continue all the way through Wednesday. We have below normal high temperatures Friday through Tuesday of next week. So enjoy it this weekend. Looking great aside from some rain chances, because by the end of next week, the heat returns. Upper 90s, lower 100s.
Alrighty. Well, a rehabilitated turtle was fitted with a satellite tracking device and released from a Florida Keys beach last Friday. It was all in part of the Tour de Turtles, an initiative which follows the long-distance migration of sea turtles over 3 months.
Footage released by the Florida Keys News Bureau shows workers from the Marathon-based Turtle Hospital releasing Rosalie, a green sea turtle, into the ocean. And now they will always know where Rosalie is until Rosalie figures out how to remove the satellite tracking device.
Fantastic. I love that.
Turtles are smart.
Yes, they are.
They
They
can
really
be very
are.
smart.
Yes.
They know what they're doing. Well, thank you all so much for putting, wait. We'll be back at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.